beautiful to be seen by your light. Today we have Pythagoras, Blue Arc again. Hello, brother. Welcome. Thank you for being here. If you guys don't already know, he is a meditation instructor. He's beautiful guided channel meditations, and he's a quantum coach and quantum healer, and a dear friend of mine that I'm just so happy that we have connected and we're collaborating in this way. So thank you for being here and hanging out with me.
Welcome everyone that's here. Today I have my sister, my beautiful star sister, Aria and I. She is a yoga instructor as well as a light activation goddess, let's put it that way, right? As well as author and many other things. You guys will definitely feel her energy and feel and see everything about what she brings to the table. So thanks for having me and thank you for being here.
Thank you. I am super excited to hear all that you have to share about, in the time that we have, about really tuning into hacking the brain. So let's just like dive right into it. How do you feel about that?
Yes. I love everything that has to do with the brain. I did a lot of my own research in psychology in the beginning of my years on waking up. And I found it so fascinating because, I just wanted to know more and more about psychology, psychotherapy. I wanted to know more about how the brain works, and why humans are the way they are. That was pretty much my mantra during that time. And one thing led to another, and I went to this rabbit hole, and then I found a lot of information. And it comes to my understanding that all this information is out there. Really just take us to really just look for it and find it. Really
Yeah.
It takes about our own research into knowing more and more. There is this quote that goes like, knowledge is free, ignorance is a choice, and it really takes us to try to understand more things about, the dynamics on how the brain works. Today, I want to share with you, Aria, and whoever that is watching, more information about how to hack the brain. And it's really such an easy way to do it. So we're definitely aware on how depression can set in, if we allow it, and we kind of have an idea on what depression looks like, or even just feeling down or whatever. There's many ways to hack the brain, I want to talk about the 4 happy chemicals. And these chemicals they're pretty much serve a big purpose in our brain, in our daily life, because we have happy chemicals, we have serotonin, we have dopamine, we have adrenaline that we get when we're working out and we're feeling that energy. And we have oxytocin that we get from petting our cat or a dog, hugging other people, on and on and on. And pretty much hacking the brain means doing activities throughout the week that will allow your brain to release all these chemicals, right? And it really just takes you doing it. Now, it's all about creating a routine and creating a schedule during your week, on doing certain activities that will allow your brain to naturally just release these chemicals that you're meant to receive, and like, meditation is not everything, being still is not everything,
Hmm.
even to calibrate new downloads and to feel alive in this physical reality. Moving our bodies is a way of hacking the brain, because when we're moving and we're doing movement meditation, when we're working out, doing such and such, our brain there has the opportunity to release these chemicals. That's why it's so important. And it's just so easy, So whoever it is watching, you can feel better, you can feel good, you can have a better life. It's just about creating a routine that involves your brain doing all of this. I mean, this happens naturally, but when we really become aware on how it really works, there you're like, okay, now I'm gonna do this because this is gonna allow me to have more of a balance in my brain.
Hmm.
So what are you picking up on about this, Aria?
Yeah. So I'm curious if you can share just um little things that they can do to just understand, like, okay, what do I need more of in this time, in this state that I'm in, and what can I do to assist that? Because I know you talked about like moving your body, maybe getting outside. So how would you kind of know like those indicators of being like, okay, I need to move my body, I need to get outside? Like, what would that be for you?
Yeah. So it's about knowing how do you feel in your body, you know there is this old saying that your gut feeling, our solar plexus chakra is constantly communicating with us, and then sometimes we get an idea, or we just feel like we just gotta do something, need to do something. So it really is about being clear with yourself and like trying to observe your reality, what's happening in the now.
Mm.
And for example, the whole thing about working out, right? If we go through all this, if we go through an entire week when we don't have the opportunity to move our bodies and work out and such, then we start kind of feeling a sense of imbalance. And where that really is coming from, that sense of imbalance, is us really craving those chemicals. So that's where the hacking comes in, you
Mm.
know? So it's about like it's about responding really to your body and really just being present with your body, your emotions, you know. Um, for example, feeling lonely, right? Or feeling a sense of like, do you want to be seen, and then you wanna have someone else be with you or whatever, or a friend, then that, even just hugging someone, there your brain is going to release oxytocin, which is the bonding hormone, and that will change your entire day. That will
Mm.
literally heal your entire day. So it really takes about us just, like I said, scheduling our routine, creating a routine that is healthy for us,
Yeah.
even eating good food, eating high vibrational food allows our brain to um, make us feel happy, you know
Yeah.
compared to eating saturated or low vibrational food. So it really is all about like having doing that little dance in between, taking in and knowing what how do you feel, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very much yeah, like you said, knowing yourself, listening to yourself. It's like not only our intuition, y'all. It's really this energetic body that we're taking care of is the physical body as well, and we have to remember that that's part of that. And I feel like
Oh yeah.
especially within the spiritual community, like before, I feel like it's getting a little better now with the the actual realization of like, yo, your nervous system is important, your body, it's a part of it. We can get so much in the higher chakras and in the higher realms, and we're like, we want to be here. We almost escape the real work that we are here to do, which is to be a part of nature, to be in this 3D realm. So thank you for sharing that, because it's so important to listen to what you do need. And even in those moments when you feel like you don't want to do anything, a lot of the time, if we feel heartbroken, or if we feel lonely, or if we just don't feel good at all, we feel sad, we don't have anything, like we feel nothing at all, we don't want to drink water, we don't want to feed
Oh
ourselves, we
yeah.
don't want to do the things that are actually going to help us. And I'm curious if you
Mhm.
have anything as well that maybe you've done in the past in those moments, because I'm sure all of us have felt those moments where it's like, I don't even want to get out of bed, I don't even want to think about anything that's going on, and you like don't take care of yourself. How do you personally like
Yeah.
pick yourself up in moments like that, or have you?
Well, I can be really easy to myself and show a lot of unconditional love, but I also know when to be assertive to myself,
Mm,
you know? And I'll, so in times where I'm just feeling down, I ask myself, maybe I just gotta rest a little bit. But it really is about balance. It's about balancing in terms of like, okay, well, maybe I got some rest, and maybe now I can take positive action into doing something that I know is going to make me feel good, you know? And then I get to collect that little celebration. I got this done. I did it. And when it comes to feeling really, really down, I guess I go from within. I, meditate, release that energy, transmute it. And then if I still feel like I'm not at my highest good or 100%, then I tell myself, okay, I know what I need, which is I have to work out. You know, I have to work out because I know if I get those endorphins that are being released, even after just working out for 15 minutes, your brain there is already rewarding you with endorphins, and there you're feeling good, and then the adrenaline kicks in, and then you feel like you're in this reality,
mhm.
so connected with your body. And you're right, Aria. Like, I definitely see the same thing in the spiritual community. Uh, everyone wants to be, everyone wants to have such a third eye open, so open.
Mhm.
They want to be here, whatever. But it's about honoring everything, honoring the higher energies. And I personally believe that the more you're balanced with the lower chakras, the more you're grounded, the more you're rooted into Mama Gaia, the more you're
Mhm.
here, grounded, good with your body, feeling good in this reality, the more of an easy access that you're gonna have into going in here, because you're already pulling that good energy into your heart. And then that's a really, that's like a good channel, the snake, the kundalini going up. So it's
Mhm.
about really honoring the lower and higher realms for sure, because
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of us just want to spend so much time. I could, my God, I can spend hours and hours doing spiritual research, or learning about UFOs or aliens or whatever, or
Mhm.
any topic that involves the astral realm. But even for myself, it gets to a point where I'm like, no, now I need to go outside, move my body, walk, you know.
Mhm.
So it really
Anchor it
takes about,
in.
yeah, it's about balance. It really is about balance for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I love all of that and that like assertiveness to be like to know when, okay, like you need to just you need to go exercise, you need to go move your body, you need to go do this. I know one of my coaches when I was going through like the hardest part of my heartbreaking grief after a breakup,
Mhm.
um I wasn't taking care of myself, and she was like, okay, instead of beating yourself up for all of this stuff and all that stuff, just take before you're gonna go start like numbing yourself with like watching something or whatever it may be, um take a couple minutes to yourself to like actually take care of yourself, whether that just
Yeah.
be breathing, whether that just be to meditate. And normally after we take that little time just to be with ourselves, whether it be to meditate or breathe or listen to something that's more calming, or that isn't necessarily just like mindless whatever that we can just throw on, normally we don't want to continue doing that. We want to actually go maybe journal or get up and go outside and walk. So that's been really really powerful for me, just in those times that I've had in the past, just being able to be like, okay, let me just give myself a minute or two, see what happens after that. And that was very similar to what you were saying as well, which is really
Yeah.
great. Yeah, it's so helpful. So
Yeah.
helpful. And yeah, there is that balance that we need to create with ourselves, and remember that yes, you work on, this physical reality and being able to heal like exactly what we are meant to do here on earth.
Mhm.
This evolution that we are going through, this healing of our own lineages, our ancestors, just so much healing and just recreating and rewriting that we are doing, stepping into this world that we are in. Like it just opens everything up when you can actually honor what it is that you are going through, what it is that you are dealing with, what it is that you are healing, stepping into, what it is you are rewriting, who it is you're honoring. That's literally our power to really just unlock so much of our gifts, our
Mhm.
spiritual gifts in general. And I feel like a lot of people get stuck there because they're like, why is nothing else happening for us? Well, a lot of the time, the body doesn't even feel safe to experience everything else that's going on. And we can just re traumatize ourselves by just
Mhm.
being all up here and having all these experiences and not being able to ground and anchor it in. And that's the point of us being here on earth, is to,
Yeah.
especially as star seeds and people that feel, they're they're just from other star systems. Like we're here to anchor in all of these energies that are here and now. We're here to really unite and remember that harmony of the stars and the earth that is just so natural, for us as human beings. Like you're here to be human. Utilize the tools that you have, and those tools of just being able to really hack the brain with those four chemicals is
Yeah.
utilizing that power, this ability to just be like, okay, how's my body feeling? Is my nervous system overwhelmed? Am I not sleeping well? What can I do
Oh,
better?
yes.
Really figuring out, okay, what are a few things that I'm doing that are not
In
serving me?
alignment. Yes.
Yeah. And being
Sleeping.
aware of that
Mhm.
to create a
Yes.
choice to change it.
Absolutely. Sleeping, staying hydrated is such a small little hack, drinking enough water,
Hmm.
even just feeling like you're a little dehydrated, there your mood is already changing, you know. There you
Yeah.
can get into all these negative thoughts. You're feeling hydrated. So it really is about listening to your body, having proper sleep too, like I love sleeping. I feel like that's the only way where I get to where I had to have a break from this reality, honestly.
Hmm.
And I get to just, be somewhere else. So sleeping is really important. Lack of
Yeah.
sleep can unbalance your chemicals. It can actually make your brain be in a lower frequency because then there's more cortisol. In Let's dive into cortisol. I love talking about cortisol, the stress
Yes.
hormone. That hormone can be for good and it can be for the worst. It can be good because that's that feeling when we're like feeling like, oh, I gotta get this done today. I want to do this. I want to. This is everything I have to do throughout the day, right? But then when we don't actually do any of that, we can also just sit into that energy of cortisol, stress hormone, and fill up all those negative thoughts in our head, and it can just definitely take you to really bad places. Um, so pretty much when we wake up in the early between 7, 8, 9 a.m., our brain is releasing cortisol, the stress hormone, and that's what pushes us out of the bed. I gotta get this done. I gotta wake up. Gotta do this. Whatever, right? That's that feeling that everyone is feeling in the morning. That's that hormone that is being released into your brain. So when you know what's happening in your brain, that's the art of hacking the brain because you are aware what's going on, you know,
Mm.
instead of just being in the energy, you're aware of what's going on. Now, at the end of the day, again, cortisol and melatonin starts to kick in again. So have you noticed that towards the end of the night, we start thinking about all 300 things. Our brain
Mhm.
is like here and there. Oh, I didn't do this correctly. Gotta do this. I haven't done this. Whatever. That's again the stress hormone doing that. You know, and then melatonin kicks in, and that's what pushes us into having some rest. Then we wake up again and again. So it really is about. I want to invite everyone that is watching, do your own individual research about the four happy chemicals. Um, our bodies and brain have been designed in beautiful intelligence, you know? So once we know how things work out, it's easier for us to just direct our focus.
Mhm.
It really is about it really everything. I feel like everything really goes down into discipline and focus. Discipline really plays a big role in in my life, just doing that action,
Yeah.
guiding. Yeah.
Mhm. And really just like knowing what it is that you can do for yourself, like having that toolbox can be really helpful.
Yes.
And not only the toolbox for yourself, but having just a couple people in your corner that you can turn to as well, to hold that space. But yeah, something that I was doing because I was like experiencing those thoughts at night again. And when you have a lot going on,
Mhm.
I mean, your nervous system is overwhelmed, so you can't sleep, right? So what I do is I'll journal about the
Mhm.
day before I go to bed. I'll do any affirmations. And I'll do it with like the elements, obviously, with a candle, with some water, and anything else that I want around me. And I'll write down what I achieved today before I write
Mm.
down what I need to do. So I'm like, okay, here's what I did today. I'm proud of myself and I give myself the props. That way I'm not going to sleep thinking I didn't do enough or of all the things I need to do tomorrow. So I'll normally write down like my achievements and what I actually did today and just being proud of myself. And then I'll write down anything else that my mind needs to just like get out on paper. And it's normally a to-do list for like the rest of the day or the next day. So if anyone, if maybe that'll help someone that
Take
has a lot
notes.
going on.
Yes, take notes because this works. It's literally having that evidence. Aria, like when you're writing things down, when you're writing, this is what I did, I'm proud of myself. You're showing your mind the evidence. Here's the evidence.
Yes.
Okay. And then the mind goes like, oh, okay, so I don't have to be like thinking about all this other stuff. Then you also give the mind the ability to focus on gratitude, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's such a
Yes.
beautiful hack for sure. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's also about labeling and understanding, like um one of my friends I had a class about the four happy chemicals, I think about um 2 months ago. And she said to me, the last time I saw her, she said to me, "Do you know what? the other week I was falling asleep and I couldn't fall asleep. And my brain was going back and forth, thinking about all these things. She said, and in that moment, I directed my focus and I said, my brain is tired, is doing, there's cortisol in my brain right now, and she started labeling what it was.
Yeah.
And then she just let it go. She was like, okay. And then it didn't affect her. And then she was like, I just let it go and was able to just, you know, have have some rest. And it's also about talking to yourself, within, she was sharing
Totally.
something like she was telling me, she was like, right now you're gonna go to sleep. Your body needs some rest. You want to be glowing tomorrow, and whatever, it's that focus, really, for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, and that intention, but yeah, that intention, that focus, that energy and action. Definitely try it, anyone that's watching. Like just try it out, see how it works for you, see what occurs within your being and kind of go from there. And I like that you were mentioning like that evidence because that has to do a lot
Mm,
with the subconscious. The subconscious is so much like an algorithm, right? It's taking data
yeah,
to create our reality. So when we can create more of that evidence of like self-trust and gratitude and
yeah,
love and whatever our, our top values are, then those little like, if you think of files, those files can be all filled up, rather than all of these times where we may have not followed our word or said we were like, oh, I'm going to work out every single day this week. Maybe that's too much. And then your brain's like, your subconscious is like, okay, look at how big this file's getting because you keep, not keeping up to your word. But if we can, especially if we're not being able to trust ourselves due to those type of instances, and this is how the nervous system just says, nope, we're not ready. You could do any affirmation in the world. And it's like, nope, I have this
oh
huge
yeah,
file that says no, and that this is not safe for us. And this is not where we're
mhm,
meant to be. And that's where it's like those little baby steps. Don't make it so big if you're going to do something for yourself.
yeah,
Allow it to be really small. Allow it to just be littlest baby step, like don't go all the way. And it's like you're worth that time that it takes because the subconscious is literally watching, literally listening, so you might as well take it slow. And that's the way that we can really begin rewiring the subconscious in a way that really assists also our nervous system, because we can have it all up here in the mind and be like, yeah, this is what I believe, I love myself, my body's healthy, like all
yeah,
this stuff going on. But then the nervous system, if you're not, it doesn't, you don't have that record of being one way, it's like, I have all this other evidence here that says that's wrong, so I'm not
yeah. Then
necessarily going to allow that to be
yeah,
attracted.
then
Yeah.
yeah, then absolutely. I love how you talk about the records because then that information goes like, actually, you're not allowed to feel this right now because you didn't sleep well the past 3 days.
Hmm.
You stayed up till
It's
3
like,
a.m.
you're not going to sleep, your body's like,
Yeah.
no, we don't do that. It gets
Yeah.
used to it, and there's
The
that, like
body,
that dedication and that repetition that we need.
it's that reparenting yourself for sure, that discipline, like telling yourself, well, you know, maybe right now I should just do what is going to make me feel better, what I
Exactly.
need for
Yeah.
sure, in for a lot of star seeds that might include a high vibrational nutrition, like eating things that are going to keep you in that high state for sure. So it really is about, I feel like we're all so different, and it's about finding your own routine, but actually doing it,
Hmm.
like, because I see a lot of like, I love myself, but there has to be an evidence too. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Every day,
Hmm.
there has to be a sense of an evidence. Like I love that analogy of like the records in the archives, that information, too.
Hmm.
Even even like when we don't sleep well, we don't allow our brain to reset. So then all that cortisol, all that stress from the day, 2 days is still there
Mhm.
because we didn't allow our brain to reset again, we're still carrying that. So it's so important. There's so many different ways for sure. Grounding.
Yeah, get outside, lay on your belly in the dirt, in the grass, put your hands in the dirt, sit in the sun for a little bit, breathe. It could be as simple as, even if you have like a lot going on and you're not getting sleep, like as simple as bringing your hand, one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and just breathing into that low space of your belly, because that's going to immediately start to let like your nervous system know and the brain know, like, okay, we're settling down, I'm safe, I'm getting more into the parasympathetic rather than in that sympathetic, because the sympathetic is just going to get overwhelmed. You're going to be on like code red all the time, that like fight or flight. And that's when we need to just take 30 seconds, a minute,
Mhm.
throughout the day, that we can, whether it be to shake off, to dance, or to breathe, and or just to go outside for a moment. Even if you have to do it on the toilet, like creating a little bit of that safety for yourself is going to involve that grounding and that breathing and that being and that shaking out and using the power of your own um, transmutation within. It's so
Yeah.
important to just really reset. I feel like, especially with people that feel like, oh, I don't have all that time to like just go do a bunch of embodiment practices and all of this stuff to like assist my brain in relaxing, assist my body in relaxing. But you do, it can be, it's so underestimated, just taking some deep breaths into your belly and listening and seeing where you may be feeling that resistance or what you're actually feeling. Because a lot of the time we can have our breath up here, and it's not
Mm,
until we intentionally try to take that low, deep breath that we realize that we're breathing that way. So just really simple stuff that can create
yeah.
a little bit more sustainability, I feel like, in our energy body, and can
Yes.
assist us in like resetting, getting back on track in a
Yeah.
sense.
The last two things I want to share about hacking the brain, what works for me, what's been working for me for the past, I would say 7, 8 years, is meditating in the morning. And what happens is that when you're meditating in the morning, your brain is already like, here's a whole juice of cortisol.
Mhm.
You're already feeling that. You know, it can translate as motivation, but it can also stress you out because you're like, I don't have any time now. I'm rushing out. Now you spill your coffee, whatever. Just taking time in to just do a guided meditation, concentration, even yoga, and just really, really, taking that practice for 20 minutes or even longer than that, your brain will release dopamine when you're meditating. That's a reward. So even just doing that, you're already hacking your day, because there you're feeling good, you're in gratitude. There you have
Mhm.
patience. You're like, yeah, we'll get this done. you know you're walking at ease, because you align yourself. So all the star seeds, I'm never gonna get tired to say to you, meditate, you know,
Yeah.
please meditate, because if we don't, then we're walking around the earth being a hazard in terms of like, we're not gonna be walking around the earth talking from our heart. We're gonna be walking around the earth talking from the mind. The clutter mind is gonna be blah 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 blah,
Mhm.
talking about the worst things or whatever. Meditate, all the star seeds for sure. Not only star seeds, everyone. It's such a so one of the best ways to really hack your brain and change your
Mhm.
focus. Because if you don't do
Yeah.
that, your body will go on autopilot. And autopilot is just pretty much, your mind is going to direct your day. So That's my number one advice. The second one is ground yourself. If you can't go into nature, lay down, imagine you're at nature, envision your roots going into to Gaia, Mother Nature, and pull that energy up. Done.
Mhm. Yeah.
You're already you're grounded as well too. Because you're doing it from the quantum field, and it's the same. It's still working. But
Yeah. Really just like let it be simple. Like it's that simple. It's not that hard. It's very, it's you just need that centering, I feel like, is that big thing. Is just being able to center. And that's what meditation is so helpful. And it doesn't have to be something really long. And it ends up being really long when you allow yourself to be in that space. And um, yeah, I think a lot of the time we forget about it. It's just like our breath meditation. It's like at that point where people just forget. And it's don't underestimate it. It really assists all bodies in just centering and grounding down, and using that power of your intention is so beautiful and so powerful. So thank you
yes.
for sharing all of that. Is there anything else you kind of wanted to share before we kind of close?
Um, for a lot of people that want to manifest a lot of big things, know that there's a balance. There's a balance between the Father God consciousness and the Mother Goddess consciousness, and that translates as you know the law of attraction is about being present and then allowing things to come, right? And then the other mode is like getting things done. But I feel like the true balance is when you get to just also have some free time. We don't always have to be doing 300 things,
Hmm.
or we don't always also have to feel good all the time. Sometimes we can just schedule boredom hours, you know, and that boredom hour might seem as being on your phone, not doing nothing, just doing nothing, or uh, playing video games or whatever. In that moment, you also allowed yourself to just also be a kid, you know,
Yeah.
be like, I'm just relaxing, taking it easy. Yeah.
Hmm.
Only thing I
Yeah.
had.
Definitely that free time, that playtime, allowing yourself, your inner child, to play, because they need that. You need that. And it can be a part of the process. And I feel like with those people that are really just looking to manifest and bring things into their lives, like we have such big hearts. And I know everyone that's watching this really does have big hearts. And we have these beautiful desires that are just so similar to so many people on this earth. But we feel so held back, and that's our opportunity to just begin, taking that aligned action and creating it from a place of compassion,
Mm,
compassion for yourself, for others, anything that you're going to do for yourself, whether that means, okay, I'm going to take an extra 5 minutes to lay down because that's what I need. Okay, I tried this is going to work for me, or whatever it may be for you. Really take action from compassion, and that's going to take you so far in being able to heal and realign, your mind and your emotional body and your physical body, your nervous system. Everything is just going to come into play when you can have that compassion for yourself and really tune into what your values are, and let that be like this is me, this is my life, this is what I'm tuning into, and I'm going to be so compassionate to the point of where it's like, even when I may be falling short, I can still get back up in a way that's from love, and not from like, oh, I don't want to be there. From love. So yeah, definitely,
yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
I That's the whole thing about motivation. Like when we are manifesting things, it's better to manifest things from motivation that comes from the heart, from
Hmm.
compassion, you know? Because when we are unconsciously trying to manifest and fueling our motivation through fear, then things feel more solid. And actually, honestly, manifesting from fear it's so tricky because it's such solid energy, and a lot of the times those things don't even work out because they're cravings of the mind. But when we're
Mm-hmm.
manifesting and using the motivation from the heart, that's the center. It's so powerful. It's so beyond. So I completely agree with that. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for sharing this space, and I hope everyone that was watching got something from it. And if you didn't, that's okay. You know.
Thanks for being here and being in this energetic space and just being a contributing energy because, yeah, we're all here all at once, loving you all so dearly. Thank you, Pythagoras, for all of your wisdom. Sending you all so much love.
Before we go, where can people find you?
Okay, so YouTube, Aria Z Young, Instagram, Aria Z Young, a website, ariazyoung.com. So YouTube's probably my best place. Where can people find you?
Yes, people can find me on Instagram. I have 2 Instagrams. My personal Instagram is virtual feline, and my Instagram from my nature retreat center is called Agartha Spirituality, and you can also go into agarthaspirituality.com to get more information.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Loving you all so deeply. Thank you for being here. Goodbye.